All right, local swell trackers, it is Sunday, the last day of March. Bullet coffee, getting this going here. We got a real nice jet, little dip here, or trough that gets circulation down at the surface, low pressures, and that's what we're seeing. Winter caliber stuff. Today was easily 8 feet. A couple 10-footers, long periods Sunday morning were washing out pipeline a little bit. Really wasn't handling, but the sandbars are built up over there at pipe. I'll get to that. Sunset Beach and today all really good until the sea breezes kicked in around the lunch hour. So the jet stream really good for this time of year. We're going to roll the animations out. You can see some 180 knot pockets there, 190. It goes to nearly our longitudes. Right here is the 180 date line, about 1,200 miles away. And these large rivers of wind, 30, 40,000 feet up in the upper atmosphere, help the formation of storms at the surface, and then they steer them. North Pack and the South Pack, it goes around the entire planet. And take a look at that. That is long, consolidated, fat, and this is April 4th in the animation right here. On the blue areas showing the high pressures getting pushed out, the troughiness over the islands for that front that's coming this coming week. We got another one tomorrow. I'll get into the weather, but you can see how the weather, waves, and winds relate to the jet stream. And that's why I always cover these. It does show a weakening trend here next weekend. And in fact, the surf production machine follows suit. We're going to go back last Sunday. I wanted to show you a couple of items. This is going back a week ago, Sunday the 24th. And this storm here with a northeast track kind of following the flow of the jet. We're looking at some winds in this, some severe gales, some 30-foot seas, but not a great track. Let me start these up. You can see how it goes right into the Bering Sea. Once it crosses over, we won't get any swell from it. But there's a decent fetch on the southwest flank right here. That's what pumped us up last Thursday, Friday. And we got up to about 5 to 7 feet. Winds were light. We did see sea breezes the last several days. Anyway, that guy faded out, and it got replaced here by this beast. Yeah, take a look at that. If that guy was tracking our way, we would have had 20, 25-foot waves. Some seas in there up to 50 feet. There's this storm that's closer by to our northwest moving in. That was overwhelmed by the one behind it here. Starting in the animations, again, it tracks way up. They've all been following the same track. We'll take whatever we can get at this time of year for this level of storm activity. Here is yesterday, Saturday the 30th, and a couple more pulses. This is what it looks like for Monday the 1st. Something on our side of the 180 date line. This is gonna boost us up on Tuesday to 6 to 8 feet, maybe 10 through Wednesday. And that's thanks to the proximity because the seas are not that high, but it did hover for quite a while. So that source, again, pulling in some 6 to 8, possibly 10 later Monday, filling in Monday to 8 feet solid, and then Tuesday, potentially up to 10 feet at sunset, some select spots. This one right behind it, approaching the date line on Monday, that has that similar track. That'll add a little bit of energy to the whole mix. This is Wednesday. This current system on our side now of the date line with some 30-foot seas, a small pocket, will send us a nice 15-second 8-foot swell for Friday. And look what happens to it. It starts to track east to southeast and gets some near 50-foot seas. This is showing 40 to 48-foot seas right here. It's not that far away. The track is not directly on top of us. This is a beefcake. Right now, Wave Watch 3 is projecting this thing to get 12 foot of swell at 15 seconds. That means 12 to 18 feet. However, a lot of the energy is passing off to our northeast. It may be overcalling, but definitely warning levels. At least 15 is my guess if the models hold out here in the next few days. And then after that, you can see that relatively speaking, it quiets down. I'm going to show you the surface winds for today, Sunday the 31st. This is the fetch that'll pump us up with shorter period swell for Monday afternoon, 14, 15 seconds. It's fairly close. It stays put. This adds into the mix. And once again, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 to 8, maybe 10 if we're lucky, but definitely advisory levels from these surface winds that created the swells I was just pointing out. So here's that fatty. See the fetch pointing off to our northeast. But those are some 55 knot winds. We call storm force gales, and that's the last of the big bunch. It's possible that something of this caliber will not happen again this season. All right, taking a look at the swell periods. Well, take a look at those long period forerunners. Man, there's some 23 seconds up here, and down here that hit us, we saw some 20 seconds in the spectrum. Right now it's leveled off. But boy, there were some fat ones. Again, some couple 10-foot sets this morning, Sunday, that were setting a warble through pipeline and even sunset. But it has peaked, setting these off. See a decline. It's not really showing the shorter period surf coming in Tuesday, Wednesday. And that's because these bands right here are showing 14 seconds on the new swell, but they're also 14 seconds on the remnant long period swell that we saw. So that's why it doesn't look like there's anything new here, but there is, as this is Tuesday the 2nd. Now up here is that big one, and this will make it very clear how much energy of this one will pass us off. There you go, right here. Wait. This is Thursday. That's the one swell before the beast I was pointing to, far northwest of us. And then the real big fat one right there, the majority of its energy passing us by, but potentially this could still reach 15, even maybe 18 feet. The outer reefs should be capping if all goes as planned, according to Wave Watch Fantasy at this point. And then finishing up the 7 days, you can see it quiets out. Only short period minor swell coming up a week from Monday, April Fools. Okay, down under, the jet stream is pointing right up at us, and we are getting some fetch in here. High pressure's off to the northeast of New Zealand with a counterclockwise flow, the opposite of the North Pacific. Plenty energy, way down, mostly zonal, but does point up. Trying to steer some waves, but none of it's going to be over 3 feet over the next 7 days. Continuing the animations. You can see that we'd lose a lot of energy. We try to gain some extra energy back, and then it quiets down again. And then right here at the very end, the 7th, we see a nice meridional flow to the northeast. This will be stirring up a storm at the surface and steering it. But again, this will only bring some 3-foot south-southwest swell around the 14th. Super long-range models are a bit blurry. Okay, here we are, Sunday the 24th, a week ago. This fetch right here, this low pressure right here, this is why we have what we have. It's kind of a south to south-southwest swell, solid 3 feet. A couple spots even saw a foot overhead. We've got a Tasman Sea trying to move into the picture over here, but it's only going to be enabling a half a foot of swell. It's not tracking up the Tasman Sea, it's tracking east, shortening the fetch, and it already has trouble getting through the cheese grater of Tonga and Samoa, Fiji, etc. But it's a big storm, and it does get out to the east coast of New Zealand on Thursday the 28th. Minor pulses surf for us from this. We quiet down. Here comes another Tasman Sea storm today. Maybe a half a foot of swell again. The end of this coming week, Friday the 5th. We'll wait and see. It is keeping it rideable, but it's nothing to write home about. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the surface winds. Here's that fetch, and we'll roll this thing out. You see it lasts a long time. Continues on. And this was all, again, a week ago, catching up to today. There's a lot of zonal. There's that big high pressure, mostly spinning. And there you go. Nice, a decent fetch here towards the end of the model runs of the surface winds. The low pressures below Tahiti. The high pressure here. The pressure gradient squeezing between them. And setting up a pretty broad fetch of some 35 knot gales. Check surfnewsnetwork.com's 5 and 10 day forecast. Premium members get the 10-day as well as multiple camera views for as long as they want with no ads. Thank you for your support. Big time. Okay, here we are today. Big area of high pressure here in blue. Tasman Sea swell I was pointing out here will only bring us up to 2 feet in about a week. End of this week. It does sneak off to the east coast right here on the 1st. So there's a chance of getting a little, maybe a chest-high wave out of that 7th or 8th. We've got a little storm here to the far northeast of New Zealand. That can add a little energy. This can help with the fetch below it, as the storm below will act upon the already agitated seas from this system. Huge storm way down, tracking east, sending huge waves off to Chile. And we go into a bit of a quiet period, but this system right here, the models are pointing out that we should be seeing some 3-foot waves. 16-second forerunners on the 12th, peaking the 13th, 14th, and 15th, again to head high from that system right there. And take a look, it goes pretty minimal after that. But it does look like, if you want to take a trip to Tasmania in Australia, that is a huge storm. And somewhere is going to be over 30 feet Hawaiian scale. 35 feet down there. The hand-drawn surface charts, there's a bubble high right here, helping keep the trades around in the morning, but it's not able to overpower the convection, the land heating. We've been getting plenty sea breezes midday. There's a trough to the southeast of the Big Island. Again, cutting the trades. The trades come back Tuesday from this high pressure moving into the area here, and that high pressure moving off. There is another front coming down for Monday. That front right here in the blue line reaching Kauai Monday afternoon, dissipating over the Central Islands Monday night, Tuesday. It's a shallow front. Greatest chances for showers expected over north-facing slopes of Kauai and maybe Oahu. From that low pressure that's going to be bringing us in some waves Tuesday, Wednesday to 8 feet at least. This low pressure over here is the big one. And now we're going to jump from the surface up to the upper regions, 20,000 feet up with the water vapor loops. See here it is. There's that front. Overall shallow, thankfully missing us to the northwest. Atmosphere is going to start to become a little less stable. We do have convective cloud buildup here today. This morning was much prettier and much better as far as conditions go around the compass. Now it is all mushed out. It's 1:40 p.m. on the clock as I record. This is the intertropical convergence zone. It stays put where the trades from the north meet the trades from the south pack. Trades come back to normal Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even maybe Friday, and then another front comes, stopping those trades right as that whomper 10 to 15 foot northwester comes. Here's an easier look at it. Counterclockwise spinner, bringing the 12 to 14 second northwester later tomorrow into Tuesday, Wednesday. As we drill down, I'll tell you highs are going to be towards 80 and lows in the lower 60s. Things are nippy. And here's a further drilled down view. It's still really nice, hot. It just feels good to get wet. One last look, you can see there is a southeast tilt to these winds being pulled up by that low, mixing in with the sea breezes. But so far, as you can see, hardly any rain. It's overall fairly dry, just a few windward Mauka sprinkles and some off the southeast coast of the Big Island moving up. We don't expect this to get too much worse. And we'll finish up with windy.com. There's the first fetch for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday swell of 8 feet, maybe bigger. This next one over here, tracking towards the date line. We'll bring these over to Wednesday, and this really doesn't give that storm credit. Bringing it in over to Thursday. This thing does fatten up. It does already look like it's out of our swell window with the European models. The ones I was showing you prior were from the Global Forecast System, or the GFS. But it's good to take a look at both. So it's possible for this Saturday swell to be 18 feet. We're going to meet right in the middle, say 15, but it could end up reaching only 12 feet, as if that's not big enough. And that's your local swell tracker. I'll check you back here next weekend. Thanks for clicking in. Thank you for your support and clicking on our sponsor banners. Aloha.